If 2006 was a terrible year in Oaxaca, in the United States, for Oaxacans, for all immigrants, 2006 was an inspiring year of new political activism.
It's not an issue that's going to go away. We're here to stay, we're not going anywhere, and we do need a solution.
America's immigrant, particularly its Latino communities, were sounding much like the well-organized African-American civil rights campaigners of the 1960s. Immigration reform laws backed by President Bush and much of the Democratic Party in Congress seemed close to passage.
But the momentum against this bill is gathering all across the country.
But then came the backlash of 2007, with conservatives branding access to citizenship for 12 million illegal immigrants living in the U.S. amnesty for their original sin of border jumping. One potent symbol of the new anti-immigrant campaign that scuttled every proposal for reform is the new wall being built along the border with Mexico.
It's KMJ.
Fresno's self-described conservative radio talk show host Ray Appleton is all for it.
What's your position on the border fence?
Well, please, huge, giant, build it 40 feet tall, 10 feet wide.
But Appleton says that's a security issue. When it comes to allowing migrants already in the U.S. access to citizenship, his approach is geared not to conservative ideology, he says, but to Fresno reality. The local economy couldn't survive if Mexican migrants were forced to leave the country.
I don't think we're financially capable of doing that. I don't think that we are devoid of so much humanity that we can just kick 12 million people out and say, we're done with you.
That poor Mexicans, even migrant Mexicans, are an accepted part of the Central Valley was validated last January.
The recent freeze in Central California not only hurt the citrus crop, but the people who worked in the orchards.
When a hard freeze hit the citrus groves that are the field hands' winter workplace, right in the middle of that border security debate.
When we had the recent freeze, we dropped all the politics completely. And I led the Republican charge to forget about it for the moment and let's take care of these people.
Appleton says people of all political, ethnic, and religious allegiances joined to get food and blankets and more to endangered migrant workers.
Oh, the Holy Family table. Yes, we're happy to have volunteers that prepare a meal every day of the year. All who want to come and eat, there are no questions asked. Seasonally, when there's no work, keeps them at least having one good meal a day, and their children also. Hallelujah.
Father Larry Toski, whose St. Joachim Church sponsors a daily free breakfast program in Madera, agrees the Central Valley's churches did come through in the freeze crisis, but he says the church's normal social safety net services are few.
The needs are manifold on every level, beginning with just a survival level. They come here looking for work. A lot of times there is work, but there's not work all year long. There's not always work for everybody. They need health care, they need education. We do give counsel whenever we can or make them aware of whatever other assistance there might be from other agencies, but we're very limited still in the amount we're able to do.
With church social service resources stretched thin and the state of California cutting back, the burden of organizing help has been taken up within the Oaxacan American community itself. Leoncio Vasquez works for the Frente Binacional, the binational Oaxacan Indigenous Front.
I would say they're not prepared. Culture, the social and political system in this country is very complex for them, and they often get in trouble by not really understanding that kind of system.
The Frente and a sister organization try to organize Oaxacans in the Central Valley around issues like migrant assistance, workers' rights, and public services like translation. In addition to all the normal problems that every migrant faces, many Oaxacans have an additional challenge, a double language barrier. Many Oaxacans speak neither Spanish nor English, only their indigenous language, Mixtec. Meet Ernilo Lopez. He's well past 60. He's been working in the fields of the Central Valley for 32 years. Over that time, he's become a good friend of the photographer David Bacon. But Ermilo's language, Mixtec, isn't written, and he's illiterate.
Pregunta a su padre.
And he understands only a little Spanish and almost no English. His son Geronimo translates at his outdoor dining table, at home, at work, everywhere in the California world. But many Mixtec speakers aren't so lucky.
People have gone to life or prison for not understanding, or they're having people who have spent 4 years at a mental health clinic receiving drugs for 4 years, and then they found out that they actually spoke trique. They didn't know what language was that, so the simple decision was that to consider that person crazy.
Does she have any
gallbladder?
Pressure from the Frente helped to convince the state of California to hire more than a dozen speakers of Oaxaca's indigenous languages, like Leoncio, to translate in courtrooms and hospitals.
She just had a regular checkup because she just delivered in order to find out that she was perfectly fine after the delivery.
Chances are that this birth, like most events that matter to the Fresno area's Oaxacan community, might have been announced by Filemon Lopez on his weekly radio show, La Hora Mixteca.
La Hora Mixteca is a piece of the home country that the people of Oaxaca find when they immigrate to the United States. We have a musical show of greetings and dedications. Then we have an hour-long interview where we discuss issues such as workers' rights, health, education, every issue that affects the immigrant community.
Filemon Lopez worries that indigenous languages and culture are dying out through the migrants' abandonment of Oaxaca and through their assimilation into America. But to our eyes and ears, both worlds seem alive and vibrant in the Central Valley. At weekly markets in Fresno or like this one in nearby Madera.
We have clavo, we have sal blanca, we have frijol molido.
Here are all the hometown specialties, Oaxacan herbs, several varieties of dried fish and dried meat, and even that great Oaxacan snack, fried crickets and chiles.
This is called chapulines, which is a tradition that we have in Oaxaca.
Markets like this exist not only to make Oaxacans feel more at home in California, but to make Americans feel richer, with new food to eat, new clothes to wear, even new sports to follow. Take a look at La Pelota Mixteca.
In an improvised field west of Fresno, a local all-star team practices for the event of the year, the annual Pelota tournament in Oaxaca City, Mexico. The game, a mixture of volleyball without a net or squash without walls, goes back more than 500 years, well before Columbus.
This is the ball they made in Oaxaca, and this is the glove. As you notice, this all leather, on top all leather. The front, they got special kind of nails because you have to hit the ball. All the new guys, they come from Oaxaca, they come to work over here in Fresno, so they check, where is their field to play this kind of game. They got it in the blood.
Oaxacan blood also pulses to music and dance, and the Fresno Madera area is rich in both. These youngsters are practicing to present these traditional dance moves at a Fresno folk concert, keeping one foot in Oaxacan indigenous culture, even as the other strides through California. For their proud parents, they are the payoff. They are the reason that all those brutal days under the sun in the fruit orchards, or the cornfields, or the pepper fields are worth enduring.
For my kids, I really hope they can find a good job. But not in the fields, not in the factory. They have to study, to become somebody, like a doctor or some sort of engineer.
Raimundo Lopez's eldest, his daughter Lucero, a good student who tutors other kids in high school math, is already making her plans.
You planning to go to college?
Yeah.
In what? What would you like to study?
Architecture and art.
And those dancing kids? Their parents may be missing Oaxaca, struggling with the language and legal barriers of the U.S. and the weekly crisis of stretching a paycheck. But their kids are dreaming American dreams of what they want to be when they grow up.
I want to be a dance teacher.
A governor of California.
Doctor.
Lawyer.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
I want to be a police when I grow up.
The American assimilation machine can be balky, even cruel, but it still works better than almost anywhere else on Earth. And for many migrants, Fresno's just the gateway. Dave Marish, Al Jazeera, the Central Valley, California.